Hello, I'm the Angry Spork, taking issue with the new Avengers/Transformers. Last issue, our heroes did the standard crossover brawl, but a combination of Autobot ingenuity and Latvian electroshock helped the Avengers overcome the aggression wave. After sharing info and failing to again breach the dome generating the wave, the resurfaced Dr. Doom goes to talk things out with the neighboring Symkaria, the country that thinks he's been bombing them. Meanwhile, the Autobots and Avengers face Decepticon warriors fueled by Energon, enhanced by Spider-Man's blood, giving them a dangerous advantage that, hopefully, Iron Man's new giant mech suit can counter. This issue's cover deviates a little from the previous two, where instead of a protagonist from each franchise seemingly working together, it has Skywarp behind Iron Man, more indicative of the kind of conflict one would expect in the issue. After the recap page, which tells us there's a little bit more than 5.5 hours until Symkaria goes to war with Latveria. Hey, wait a second. Optimus Prime is Commander-in-Chief? He's been the president of the Autobots this whole time? Then that campaign image I made a few years ago is totally legit. Someone call Benjamin Sisko. After the Avengers look a little dumbfounded at Stark's latest get-up, we get a 2-page spread of him attacking the Decepticons. Having heard rumors of robots in disguise on Earth, he got proactive. His narration notes how he's lived in both worlds of man and machine, having needed technology to survive his first heart attack, because he was not going to give up his steady diet of Mountain Dew, chocolate cake, and pork rinds. And we see he's hovering inside the mech, in nothing but his briefs. I'm sure it's possible that temperatures just get really high in that thing, but part of me wonders if Tony just likes going on missions without pants whenever he can get away with it. However, this suit's capacitors are at maximum, and power is draining, already down to 81%, when Skywarp teleports in, backing up Thundercracker's aerial assault. Prime is injured, but prioritizes getting into the array. He notices the heroes aren't coordinating very well, and wonders where the Avengers' leader is. Well, just as Miss Marvel and Falcon are taking enemy fire... "Oh, say, can you see, by the dawn's early light? I can!" Well, it's not as pithy or as fun as On Your Left, I can say that much. Even if you don't wonder where he got a freaking plane so quickly, even if you overlook whether or not anyone can hear him, barring comm devices, is it common for him to be so cheesily on brand like that in the mid-2000s? Anyway, Iron Man decides to take to the skies, asking the Bulletproof Strongman and Claude Canadian to back him up. Somehow, Luke Cage sees Ratchet focused away from the battle, and the medic says he's found a way through the force field, specifically with the Decepticons who can't teleport like Skywarp exited. There may be a way to weaken the spot, similar to how the Avengers punched their way in back in issue 1, and Wolverine wants in. Luke, however, insists he stay in the fight and buy them time, and Logan seems to go along with it. Represent X-Men style. Wait, which style? This one? Or this one? Ratchet and Luke head inside, with Prowl following close behind, but it's not clear how. They never detail anything like energy fluctuations or reverse ion scramble or even an open sesame. The force field is just down. But I'm guessing there's a connection to Skywarp's teleporting, given the way he's juxtaposed here. Anyway, Prowl followed because Ratchet has a previous history of prioritizing human safety, and the Autocop wants to stay on mission to destroy the Psycho Prism. Luke gets in his holographic face, saying his spider pal could be dying, and doesn't think the robot's gonna stop Cage from finding him. While this story seems to be its own continuity, the IDW vs. Prowl has been characterized as someone willing to lie to his friends and be a general exhaust port for some version of the greater good, and even keeping information to himself. So while this may not be the exact same Prowl, it's rather fitting that his hollow human looks like one of the Men in Black.
Permanently marked. This is the last suit you'll ever wear marked. You're a dead man marked.
There's interference from multiple radiation sources, so literal robo-cops scanners can't pinpoint the prism, but seems to detect its general location. Luke heads to find Spider-Man, with the Doctor joining him in the other direction. "Go with the human. Keep him from getting his fleshy little body crushed. I'll just save this planet myself." Yeah, do you know he's got high-density skin and enhanced strength? Instead of agreeing that they can split up to achieve both objectives, this bot is so arrogant he kind of deserves a good sock to the middle jaw. Use the Force, Luke. The force of your superhuman strength to punch him in his robot face. Ratchet tells his ride-along that Prowl's authority has been reduced lately, through no fault of his own. Sure about that one, Doc? But he's still sensitive about it. Well, someone's life is in immediate danger, so cry me an Energon River. Working on Luke's hunch, they head toward the chamber where his team was ambushed in the first issue, but stop when they hear a groan of anguish, and start busting down the nearest door. Oh, wait, it's just the employee lounge. Sounds of wailing and despair are normal. Let's keep going. It actually is the lab holding Spidey, and they're met by a supercharged Megatron. He blasts the two from the palms of his hands, not unlike Iron Man. The blasphemy of him not using his arm cannon aside, I don't know if the implication is supposed to be that they use the mirror response mode to scan Tony's tech, or if this is just a coincidence. Meanwhile, Prowl is kicking down his fifth door, which seems to be the charm, as he's found the chamber with the prism. He seems surprised to find Ramjet on Earth, not sure why, and the Khan makes a remark about how difficult it is to suffer disrespect from their leaders. Prowl tells him to step away from the bauble, and he does, but only so the Autobot can get zapped into submission by an unseen new partner. Let's see. Marvel character, evil, able to incapacitate a giant alien robot. It could only be Paste Pot Pete. The battle outside still rages, Autobots fighting alongside Iron Man while his energy continues to drop. Optimus realizes they need to try and equalize the playing field, match the atypically large amount of raw power their enemies have displayed. After learning about Stark's circuitry, he calls in Bumblebee and Jazz, and the three bots plug into ports on the armor, giving it a power boost.
Thank Henry Ford for standardized parts.
Tony takes the Seekers down in short order, and the Autobots unplug before his capacitors overload, on a near-identical page to the previous one. This may have been an intentional choice, showing how quickly and effortlessly they felled their attackers by working together. But even if this was done to save a little time in the production of the comic, the story's been good enough so far that it's easily forgivable. However, there's no time to catch their breaths, or the Cybertronian equivalent of that expression, when they're ordered to surrender to Megatron and Dr. Doom. Or, hear me out, it's Paste Pot Pete dressed as Dr. Doom to throw people off, eh? Showing their captives via holodisplay, Megatron explains,
Dr. Doom has agreed to aid us in taking control of this world in exchange for dominion over its remains.
So he's okay with ruling over a lifeless mud ball after you've drained its resources to nothing. Sure sounds like Vic wins out in the end, doesn't it?
Are you a real doctor or a doctor like Dr. Pepper's a doctor?
He then tells Prime that their long battle is over, the old soldiers' time is past, and they'll wait for them to surrender or let their cohorts die. Then the bickering begins. A weakened Prime offers to help destroy the array, Bumblebee says a few humans are expendable, and Miss Marvel agrees with her. I guess she's just going by the female-looking hologram Bee is projecting, but whatever. Falcon thinks that's crazy, wondering if she doesn't see people anymore. Wolvie doesn't plan on leaving Luke or Spidey to die, and Cap prioritizes stopping the war in Symkaria before it starts.
Humans, please, listen to me. You could save 15% on your car insurance by switching to Geico.
Not that I'm hoping for it, but seriously, how has that product placement not shown up in any of those 6 Transformers movies? The heroes begin attacking the array again, which makes Megatron unhappy that they didn't surrender like the green-caped ruler claimed, so zaps him unconscious.
I am not so much disappointed as I am blinded with rage.
He proceeds to pick up Luke Cage.
There's an old Cybertronian proverb. If you truly wish organic beings to be battered into a thin paste, you must do it yourself.
He probably made up that proverb himself, but considering the Cybertronians alone are millions of years old, he could have coined it a long time ago. It'd be technically correct, you gotta give him that. The comic ends with Megatron stepping out of the dome, blasts bouncing off him, as he declares that Earth's fate will be decided and the heroes will fall at his hands.
And which hand is the human in? Bet you can't guess. Bet you can't guess. Bet you...
Is he in your left hand?
Well, slag it, I should have had a better plan than this.
Things have moved pretty well, not feeling too slow or too rushed, with the stakes raised by 4 lives and the countdown to war ever closer. There's the twist that Doom had allied with Megatron that wasn't foreshadowed, but nor was it surprising, even though he did say he was leaving to talk things out with Symkaria. The one wonders why he would be okay with ruling Earth after it had been depleted like a bad cell phone battery, and whether or not Megs finds that at all suspicious. I mean, if Vic had some nifty way of generating energy that he could use after the cons leave, then he'd probably keep that close to his chest plate. There's also a few hints of more character traits that seem mixed. Like I said, this seems to be its own continuity, not in line with what IDW was doing at the time, so having Prowl and Ramjet talk as informally as they were feels like it's referencing something in a different iteration. Not a big deal, but curious all the same. And mileage will vary for some regarding Bumblebee suggesting that a couple humans are expendable. I can understand not thinking all Autobots should be these pure, perfect, wise beings like Prime is. Again, Prowl's been pretty underhanded, but something so cold and lacking in compassion from Bumblebee is jarring, to say the least. But there's still another issue to clear things up. Will we see more Avengers join the fight? Will Spider-Man get to do more than lie helplessly on a medical slab? Will Tony reveal that he conveniently heard about Transformers Combiners and made 4 other supersized suits for that same purpose? Tune in next week and see how much of that was just empty rambling. I'm the Angry Spork, and man, I got issues.